Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining the second session in Aracari's Masterclass series. We'll just take a moment or two to let a few more people join before we get fully started. So, as you've heard, today's conversation is about a question that we're asked all the time. Where should I go in South America, and when is the best time to be there? So, if you've ever looked at a map and wondered where to begin, how to combine destinations, or how to travel with the seasons, then this session is for you. So, before we dive in, a quick introduction. I'm Alice Farkas, Aracari's marketing lead. So, I oversee everything from social media to storytelling and guest communication. So, if you're part of the Aracari community, you follow us on social, or you've traveled with us before, then it's likely our paths have already crossed. Just a few super quick housekeeping notes. This is a webinar format, so there's no need to worry about muting your microphone or turning off or on your camera. So you're here as our audience, and it's wonderful to see that so many of you have joined this evening. So thank you. If you have any questions, we really encourage you to use the Q&A box that's just at the bottom of your screen. And we'll keep an eye on them, and we'll answer everything at the end. And then just a final note to let you know that this entire conversation is being recorded. So you'll be able to revisit points, add questions that we answered, and all of the slides from today's session. Another just quick introduction. We're also delighted to have Christian Ramke join us today, our longtime partner based in Chile.
Hi,
Christian
everyone.
brings deep regional expertise, and he'll be helping answer any specific questions related to Chile and the surrounding areas during the Q&A. So thank you for joining us, Christian.
Thank you, Alice.
So with that, then, I'm delighted to hand things over to Marisol Mosquera, founder of Aracari, who will be guiding us through today's conversation. So Marisol, over to you.
Thank you very much, Alice. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Marisol, as Alice has told you, and I'm delighted to have you here for this second session in Aracari's exclusive webinar series. Just a little bit about me. I founded Aracari nearly 29 years ago. I'm Peruvian, but I was raised in Spain and studied and worked in both the US and the UK. When I founded Aracari in 1996, it was with a vision of sharing South America's cultural richness, natural beauty, and authenticity with the curious, discerning travelers. First, we started in Peru, then Bolivia and Ecuador, and the Galapagos. And now we're proudly designing beautiful journeys across the continent in collaboration with our trusted partners, one of who I have the honor of having here with me tonight. Over the years, we've become known for offering deeply personalized journeys, working only with trusted guides, exclusive properties, and behind the scenes across to experiences most travelers never get to see. Today, we're talking about something that confuses and overwhelms even the most seasoned travelers: where and when to travel to South America. This session is designed to cut through the noise and help you make the right decisions based on your timing, interest, and travel style. Please pop your questions in the chat at any time. We'll tackle them in the Q&A at the end. South America at a glance and how to get there. South America is a vast and strikingly diverse continent, stretching from the warm waters of the Caribbean Sea in the north to the wind-swept southern tip of Patagonia. It spans 12 countries, and at Aracari, we specialize in travel across 8 of them: Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Uruguay. Covering around 17.8 million square kilometers, South America is more than twice the size of the area covered by the European Union. With such a vast territory comes an extraordinary range of landscapes, climates, and cultures, making it one of the most biodiverse and geologically rich regions on the planet. So let's take a journey through this geography, moving west to east and north to south. Along the Pacific coast, we find tropical rainforests in Colombia and northern Ecuador, which gradually give way to the coastal deserts of Peru and northern Chile, home to the world-renowned Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth. As we move further south towards central Chile, the climate softens into semi-arid and Mediterranean zones, eventually becoming temperate and oceanic closer to Santiago, where wet winters, green valleys, and wine country dominate. Just inland, running like a spine down the continent, are the Andes Mountains, the longest continental mountain range in the world. They begin in Colombia and stretch all the way to southern Patagonia, shaping the climate and cultures of nearly every country along the western edge. On the eastern slopes of the Andes, particularly near the equator, the terrain drops steeply into the Amazon basin. Here, we descend through cloud forests and montane jungle until reaching sea level, where the Amazon River and its many tributaries flow through the largest tropical rainforest on Earth. Further south, as we leave the equatorial zone, we encounter high-altitude plateaus like the Altiplano, the dazzling Uyuni salt flats in Bolivia, the rolling pampas of Argentina, and eventually the glacial landscapes of southern Patagonia. Add to that the Galapagos Islands, a living laboratory of evolution, and you begin to see just how many ecological worlds coexist within a single continent. From rainforests to deserts, glaciers to grasslands, volcanoes to wine valleys, South America is unmatched in its contrasts. This natural and cultural richness makes it a truly exceptional destination for travelers seeking both adventure and immersion. But South America is not only defined by its natural wonders. Its cities are equally captivating, offering rich layers of history, culture, and sophistication. On the Pacific coast, you'll find Lima, the capital of Peru, perched above the ocean cliffs and world-renowned for its gastronomic scene, blending indigenous, Spanish, African, and Asian influences. To the south, Buenos Aires, Argentina's elegant capital, evokes a European grandeur with its broad boulevards, vibrant tango salons, fine dining, and even opportunities to attend a live polo match. Along Brazil's Atlantic coast lies the legendary Rio de Janeiro, set dramatically between mountains and sea, where golden beaches, samba rhythms, and iconic landmarks like Christ the Redeemer create one of the most vibrant urban landscapes in the world. These cities, along with others like Bogota, Quito, Montevideo, and Santiago, anchor the continent's cultural life and offer the perfect contrast to its remote, natural landscapes. Getting there and away. Getting to South America is easier than ever, with frequent direct flights connecting major cities in the region to North America and Europe. From the US, cities like Miami, Houston, Atlanta, New York, Dallas, or Los Angeles offer daily nonstop flights, not only to Lima, but also to Bogota, Quito, Santiago, Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, and Rio de Janeiro. These routes make much of the continent easily accessible with minimal layovers. From Europe, there are also excellent options. Madrid and Lisbon serve as key gateways with short and frequent flights to Sao Paulo, Rio, Bogota, Lima, and Buenos Aires. Lisbon in particular offers quick access to northeastern Brazil, including Recife, Fortaleza, and Salvador, making it one of the easiest and fastest connections between Europe and tropical South America. Paris, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, and London also provide solid connectivity to major hubs across the continent. So whether you're coming from North America or Europe, it's entirely feasible to reach South America in a single overnight flight. And with smart planning, you can often be enjoying your first destination the very next morning. So, when to go? South America's vast geography means the best time to visit depends on the region. Generally, the dry season from May to October is ideal for exploring the Andes, including Peru and Bolivia, with clear skies and pleasant temperatures. Patagonia is best visited in the Southern Hemisphere summer, from November to March, while destinations near the equator, like the Amazon or Colombia, are warm year-round with occasional rain. Overall, there's always a perfect destination in season somewhere on the continent. Let's talk about some of South America's most iconic destinations and why how you visit matters just as much as where you go. You've surely heard of these legendary places, and with a good reason. They're spectacular, and many travelers dream of seeing them at least once. There's Machu Picchu in Peru, the legendary Inca citadel, perched high in the Andes, rich in history, myth, and breathtaking scenery. And the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador, a pristine archipelago where you can walk among giant tortoises and snorkel with sea lions in crystal clear waters. Or Iguazu Falls, between Argentina and Brazil, one of the world's most impressive waterfall systems with thunderous cascades set in lush rainforest. Patagonia, between Chile and Argentina, a vast region of jagged mountains, massive glaciers, and serene remoteness at the edge of the world. And of course, there's Easter Island, belongs to Chile, truly enigmatic, mysterious, and very far away. These destinations are certainly musts, and there are lovely places to stay and much to be experienced. In order to enjoy your visit to the fullest, however, it is key to time it properly. For example, when allowed, to access the site before opening times, or travel in shoulder season, or in the less popular rainy season. This is because for as awe-inspiring as each of these destinations is, they all face some degree of over-tourism, except perhaps the Galapagos, which is highly regulated. But even in the Galapagos, the choice of which boat to cruise in will definitely determine your enjoyment of the experience. All of these destinations are definitely worth visiting if you do it right. So the key is intelligent, experience-based planning. So, for example, knowing when to go and how to avoid the crowds, using lesser-known access routes or alternate circuits, or having outstanding guides who can bring the place alive and steer you away from the masses. With the right logistics and insight, these world-famous destinations can still feel intimate, immersive, and unforgettable. And then there are the hidden gems. Let's turn to places that are equally compelling, just far less known. These are destinations that offer rich experiences with fewer people, deeper connections, and more authenticity. Here, you will also have the privilege of staying at lesser-known boutique owner-operated lodges, which are real gems and offer true connection with the destination. Let's start in one of the wildest corners of the continent, Chile's Aysén region in northern Patagonia. This is a land of glaciers, fjords, forests, and absolute stillness. It's one of the least visited parts of Patagonia, which means no crowds, just raw, breathtaking wilderness. Aysén holds a special place in conservation history. It's here that Douglas Tompkins, the visionary founder of the North Face, bought vast tracts of land and worked to preserve them, eventually donating them back to the Chilean state to create Patagonia National Park. It's a remarkable example of private conservation turned public legacy. Now, let's hop over the Andes into northwestern Argentina, first to Salta with its elegant colonial architecture and dramatic red rock canyons. The region is known for its high altitude vineyards, particularly the crisp Torrontés wine, and the Calchaquí Valley is like a dream for photographers and wine lovers alike. And then there's Cordoba, Argentina's second city, but much more relaxed than Buenos Aires. The real charm lies in the countryside, amongst rolling sierras and historic estancias. One of our favorite places here is Estancia Los Potreros, a traditional working estancia where you can ride with gauchos, enjoy hearty home-cooked meals, and soak up the rural Argentine way of life. And Ecuador's highlands offer incredible mix of history, culture, and scenery. Here you can ride horseback between centuries-old haciendas, shop at colorful markets far from the tourist trail, and explore the colonial treasures of cities like Cuenca and Quito. We love Hacienda La Danesa for its authentic feel and warm welcome, and Mashpee Lodge for those who want to immerse themselves in the cloud forest with a deep commitment to conservation and biodiversity. Heading north to Peru, let me introduce you to one of its most magical, underappreciated regions, the Chachapoyas Cloud Forest region. This area is rich in mystery and history, home of the pre-Inca Chachapoya civilization, with their mountaintop fortress of Cuela and cliffside sarcophagi. It's also where you can find Gocta Falls, one of the tallest waterfalls in the world, hidden for centuries and only discovered by outsiders in the early 2000s. We recommend staying at Gocta Natura cabins where you can wake up to birdsong and the view of the waterfall itself, a truly unforgettable setting. Next, we drift along to the Magdalena River to Mompox, a perfectly preserved colonial town that seems to float in time. It's often compared to a Gabriel Garcia Marquez novel, and for a good reason. Wandering its cobbled streets and leafy plazas, you can almost feel the magic realism in the air. It's a town of artisans, musicians, and golden light, a place to slow down and savor. And to stay, Casa Sining is our favorite spot. Small, owner-operated, and charming, it captures the essence of the Colombian Caribbean. And now, for something completely different, the surreal landscape of Lençóis Maranhenses in northeastern Brazil. This is a desert of pristine white sand dunes that during the rainy season fill with thousands of crystal clear freshwater lagoons. It's like walking through a Salvador Dali painting, totally otherworldly. The best time to visit here is from June to August, when the lagoons are at their fullest. We love La Ferme de Georges, an eco-chic retreat nestled on the edge of the dunes, where you can explore on foot or by 4x4 and then return to exquisite food and thoughtful design. And finally, we come to Bolivia, high-altitude dreamscape, the Salar de Uyuni, the largest salt flat in the world. During the rainy season, it turns into a giant mirror, reflecting the sky in a truly mind-bending experience. Nearby, the Eduardo Avaroa Reserve offers vividly colored lagoons, red, green, white, frequented by flamingos and framed by volcanic peaks. It's a place that defies logic and invites awe. Here, the modern and streamlined Explora Lodge is all you need. These are just few of the destinations we love at Aracari, places where time slows. Nature speaks loudly, and luxury lies in the authenticity and access. I hope this journey has inspired you to dream differently about where and when you travel in South America. But now let's go to travel to the places. So South America offers an extraordinary variety of landscapes and cultures, but it's also logistically complex. Distances are vast and flight connectivity can be tricky. That's why smart itinerary design is essential. By pairing destinations that are geographically close, culturally complementary, and seasonally aligned, we help our guests experience more without feeling rushed or example. These are just some examples of logical and enriching combinations. Say Peru and Bolivia. For travelers drawn to ancient civilizations, indigenous culture, and dramatic high-altitude landscapes, this is a natural combination. This combination delivers a powerful narrative from Inca temples to mystical landscapes, all woven together with local traditions. The best time to visit here would be May to October, the dry season in the northern Andes. Chile and Argentina. In this pairing is perfect for nature lovers, wine aficionados, and those who crave contrast across a shared mountain range, the Andes. In the south, combine Chilean Patagonia, home to Torres del Paine, with Argentine Patagonia, including El Calafate, Fitzroy, or Ushuaia, the southernmost city on Earth. In the north, wine lovers can cross the Andes from Santiago to Mendoza, enjoying spectacular scenery and world-class vineyards in both countries. Best time would be November to March for Patagonia, year-round in the north. Colombia and Ecuador. These two northern countries are fantastic for travelers who want a deep cultural dive with minimal time zone change and short flights. Start in Colombia, perhaps Cartagena for Caribbean flair, or Bogota for museums, street art, and food. The coffee region in Medellin are excellent for immersive experiences. This pairing offers urban culture, rural heritage, biodiversity, and soft adventure, all with year-round potential. And Brazil. Brazil is so vast and diverse that it often stands alone. You can craft an entire trip around its regions or use it as a relaxing finale after a more intense adventure. A classic Brazil itinerary might include Rio de Janeiro, the lush Iguazu Falls, the Afro-Brazilian energy of Salvador, or a stay in the Amazon rainforest, or the wonderful, the unspoiled beaches of Alagoas, or laid-back Paraty, stylish Trancoso, or the remote dunes and lagoons of Lesões Maranhenses. December to March is the best time for beaches and festivals, and June to August for Lesões Maranhenses. So, at Aracari, we don't just look at flights. We look at rhythm, contrast, and flow. A well-crafted itinerary brings together the right destinations at the right time, balancing exploration and relaxation, urban discovery, and natural wonder. One of the most underestimated aspects of a luxury trip is everything that happens behind the scenes. At Aracari, we take care of the invisible architecture of your journey so that what you experience feels effortless, intuitive, and personal. And here's what makes the difference. We handle all transportation privately, from airport pickups, boat rides, and overland transfers. So you move at your own pace with complete control over your day. Every hotel, lodge, or hacienda we recommend is personally vetted. We visit and evaluate each one for comfort, service, character, and location. Whether you're after barefoot luxury, family comfort, or boutique design, we match accommodations to your taste, not just star ratings. Our guides are not just knowledgeable, they're storytellers, educators, and travel companions. Many of them are specialists in history, archaeology, natural sciences, or anthropology. But just as important, they know how to read you and tailor the experience to your pace and interest. We don't believe in rushing from one highland to the next. Your itinerary is carefully paced to allow time for both activity and rest, immersion and reflection. We build in moments of surprise, delight, and flexibility because the best memories often come from the unexpected. Throughout your trip, we're there. Our team and partners on the ground are available 24/7 to respond to any need, big or small. Lost luggage, a last-minute change of heart, we handle it quietly and swiftly so you can focus on enjoying the moment. So, at Aracari, there's not one size fits all. We help you tailor your journey to the season and to your style. We'll help you figure out what's right for you, whether it's next month or next year. And with this, I would like to end this presentation and pass over, before, of course, thanking you for your attention, to Alice to see if there's any questions we can answer. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Marisol. I feel like we've traveled through the continent in the last 20 minutes. That was great. Thank you. So, yeah, we've had a few questions coming already. So, the first is around, so someone is asking, how much time would I need to visit the most important highlights of South America. So I guess we did that section just on highlights. So if people wanted to see the iconic sites, how much time would they need? And would there be a recommended time of year for that?
I mean, to cover the time sites that we mentioned, yeah, like what was that? Machu Picchu, Iguazu Falls, the Salar de Uyuni.
Yeah, some of Patagonia.
Yeah, I mean, I think that April would probably be a good month to do everything. April is a wonderful time to visit Patagonia. It's the end of the season. It's when some hotels close for the season, but just at the end of the month. So yeah, April would be a good time, and it's shoulder season for the busy
Yeah.
places. It's a great time for Peru. I think it's a good time for Iguazu. You could go to the Galapagos, and it's a
Hmm.
perfect time. And yeah, I think you'd need a good month for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Not less than that. To see all those highlights. Oh my God, what a great
Yeah.
trip. Yeah.
What a trip. Yeah, cool. Okay, so then someone is asking around, they would like to go to Patagonia, both Argentina and Chile, with
Mhm.
7 days. Would you say that that's possible to get a good enough experience there during that time to experience both sides of Patagonia or
Well, it
not?
depends. If you're talking about southern Patagonia, which is Torres del Paine, yes, and in Chile uh, and Calafate in Argentina, I would say yes, but I mean, I will defer to Christian. Maybe he wants to answer this. I think he's well positioned to answer that.
Oh, you're on mute, Christian.
You're on mute.
There
Here
we
we
are.
go. Sorry. Hi, Marisol. Hello, everyone. Well, I would say that for Torres del Paine, you need I mean, if you need to rush things up because you want to combine two countries like Argentina and Chile and focusing just in Patagonia, you need at least 4 days in Torres del Paine National Park because it takes you basically an entire day to get there to your destination. Because, for example, only the flight from Santiago to Puerto Natales is approximately 4.5 hours. And then the drive from Puerto Natales to the Torre del Paine National Park, it's another 2.5 hours to get there. And if you would like to cross to do an overland transfer to Calafate, which is possible, it's going to take you approximately 5 to 6 hours, depending on how busy the border is at that time of the year. But as Marisol said, I think that April is an excellent month to visit because, peak season, which is the festive season, I wouldn't suggest that because first of all, it's very expensive, and secondly, it's a lot of people there at that particular time. So if you can wait a little bit and do it in April, as Marisol said, I would say it's a perfect time of the year.
Great. Perfect. Thank you,
And
Christian.
then there's also, Christian, there's also northern Patagonia, right? Because you could also combine the two countries, but in the northern Patagonia. And
Exactly.
how would that work? Could you do it in 7 days?
To do, you mean to do Northern Patagonia and Southern Patagonia in 7 days?
No,
Combining?
northern Patagonia. Can you do the two countries in northern Patagonia, like combine two countries?
Yeah. The thing is that the pace, I would say, in the Aysén region, which is basically we are going to talk about the Carretera Austral, the Austral road, is slower because it's a gravel road. It's only two-way road, so you have to be careful. So basically everything takes a little bit longer. So it's not like in Torres del Paine National Park where you connect destination with paved roads. I would say if you would like to visit that area as well, you also need for at least 4 nights in order to visit, Douglas Tompkins National Park, well, one of the biggest highlights, which would be the Marble Caves. But you will need probably more time than in the Torres del Paine National Park. And this is because the kind of road that we have in that area. So basically, I would suggest if you need to speed things up during your trip, 4 nights at the Austral Road, 4 nights in Torres del Paine National Park. That would be the minimum amount of days.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so a question now around Easter Island. So Marisol, you obviously mentioned that it is very far flung, but how many days would someone need for a trip to Easter Island? Is it a standalone destination, or is it possible or recommended to combine it with Peru for a 14-day trip or something like that?
Kristen, I defer to you again because that's Chile. So then I've been to Easter Island and I went from Lima when there was once upon a time there were direct flights from Lima to Easter Island, but that was a long time ago. And now I don't believe there are. I know they aren't, no?
Oh, no, we don't. And actually, it's kind of tricky to plan a trip to Easter Island at this time of the year. Maybe in 1 more month, we're going to have more options for flights to Easter Island. We have, during the high season, normally we have daily flights. So 1 flight per day. It leaves Santiago at 9 a.m. and it's a long flight. It's 5.5-hour flight to get to the island. The island is small, so we do have many people that they would like to combine the highlights from Chile, and they do the Easter Island in 3 nights. Yeah, you can do that because the island is small, and as you know, the island is a national park. Basically, it's an open museum. So you go from one point to another one. So you connect dots, seeing all these highlights, all these moais, and all the histories there. So there are no travel times there. I mean, it's no long distances. That is what I mean. So
and there's no wildlife either to see, no? Not very much.
No.
It's mainly the monuments.
Exactly. Some wild horses you can see, but that's it. Yeah, so I would say, again, I would suggest 4 nights, but also you can do it in 3 nights, you know, but because the flight, you have the flight Easter Island to Santiago normally is during the afternoons. It's 6 p.m. So you will be around 9:30, 10 p.m. back in Santiago. And you can connect your next destination staying at the Holiday Inn, for example, hotel at the airport. So on the next, which is located inside the airport. So on the next day to connect with a flight to another destination in Chile is just walking distance. So that is very useful.
Great, thank you. So next question is around a road trip options in South America. And if there is it a good destination for a road trip, or, you know, traveling overland rather than traveling between countries? And any recommendations on where a great route would be?
Well, we planned with Christian some time ago a wonderful trip through Bolivia and Chile, remember? We had an itinerary. I mean, the good road trips, I think, are between Peru, Bolivia, Chile. That's a lovely area. No, crossing borders is always a little complicated because if you have a car and driver, tourist car, then you need to change cars in some of the border areas. So border areas are not like in Europe that you just cross. It's complex. You need to stop. There's queues. There's a lot of situations, but you can also do self-drive. That's also a possibility in certain places, like the Carretera Austral. You can do that. But yes, what I would say is Chile lends itself beautifully for driving overland, Bolivia, Peru, southern Peru, connecting these countries, Argentina. Do you agree, Christian?
Yeah, well,
driving.
The trip that we arranged for your clients in doing the northern part of Chile and Bolivia was a wonderful trip. You get to see a lot. It's safe as well, but as you said, we always recommend using a guide and a driver, so you enjoy your time, you know, seeing the destination and taking pictures, and you don't need to worry about all the small details that might affect, you know, your travel time.
Yeah. Borders are complicated in South America. So
Yeah, that's
you can,
true.
we also have a nice itinerary between Peru and Ecuador that we cross the border overland.
Uh-huh.
That's, but again, you know, there's traffic on the border, and you know, you could be subject to delays, but that's where you have a driver and guide. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so changing country now to Argentina. Someone's asking, what is there to see and do in Salta and Cordoba?
There's a lot of nature and estancias where you see working estancias and horses and riding. Salta
Mm,
is very historic. It's a very lovely town. It's a bit like other mid-sized, very charming colonial towns in South America, like Arequipa in Peru and Sucre in Bolivia. Salta is very lovely place. But so there's history, there's small museums. It's very similar. The north of Argentina resembles, has a lot of culture. It's very similar to Peru and Bolivia. It's very different from southern Argentina. So, and then in Cordoba, it's going to estancias and riding. That is a big, you know, it's estancia based kind of thing.
cool. Nice. Okay, so last couple of questions now. So someone is asking related to Rio de Janeiro, is it better to experience the city during New Year's Eve or Carnival? And are there any advantages of each season or particular festival?
Well, both are are wonderful, but depending on your, you know, your taste for a party and crowds. But you know, there's it's a very exciting time. In both, you have to. One of the things you have to book is way ahead. And of course, if you like dancing, you can participate in one of the dance groups. That's one of the things that we can offer you know, to assist you with. And yeah, and it's very lots of fun at Carnival. And
Mm,
also to be at a, you know, rent a lovely property to be able to witness the sort of New Year's Eve celebrations on the beach. But it needs to, a lot of these places, iconic festivals, need a very far in advance planning. And
yeah,
also Patagonia, Galapagos, very important, Machu Picchu. They all, if you're going in festive, you need to book a year in advance. So that's
right.
very important to remember. All of these places require advance booking.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so this Christian then for you specifically on Chile, what kind of traveler do you think Chile is best suited for? And how do you typically recommend combining its diverse regions from north to south within sort of a 2-week trip?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question. I would say that Chile is suitable for all kind of travelers because it can be very, you can plan a very active holiday, or you can plan something more relaxed, visiting the winelands. You know, as close to Santiago, we have the Maipo Valley, which is very well known for reds. Then closer to the coast, we have valleys that are focused on the white wines. Then we have the Pacific Ocean. We have also the Lake District as well, where it's not it's something more suitable for people that have less time in Chile, with all the volcanoes and national parks as well, closer to Santiago. So it's only 1 hour flight to get there, and you get to see the entire Lake District. I would say that normally, if you plan a trip with 3 nights at the Atacama Desert, if you are interested in wines and the coast, 3 nights in Santiago to see Valparaíso as well, which is very close to Santiago and the wine lines, and then 4 nights in in the Lake District or in Patagonia, Northern Patagonia, or in Torres del Paine National Park, that would be the best way to plan a trip in Chile. So I would say 9 days. With 9 days, we can do something very nice here, combining different areas.
Nice, fantastic. Okay, and then the last question, unless anyone wants to drop any final questions in there, but someone's asking, is it possible to visit Lenosa Marinese? Is that about right? Is that about right?
Yeah.
In my accent, in Brazil and you only in Bolivia in one trip, and how many days would you suggest for that?
Well, in order to do that, but if you need to be mindful of the flight connections, but that's possible because Santa Cruz in Bolivia is very well connected with Brazil. So that's you need 2 flights from Brazil to Bolivia, and then to Uyuni. So flying would be a challenge, but doable. And then you probably need 4 nights maximum in each place. And the thing is that the seasons are a little bit, they're not opposed, but depending on what kind of effect you want to see in the salar, because if you go between June and September, October, which is when Les Suez Maranhenses is visible, basically, there's lagoons, then you're seeing the dry part of the dry season for the salar, which is basically a wonderful season where you can drive across the salar, and that makes it fabulous, but you don't see the famous mirror effect.
Right.
So if you don't mind, that's a wonderful trip. Oh my God, a visual trip of contrast. That would be an incredible thing to do.
Yeah. And is that national park, Marisol, the Brazil National Park, is that similar to what is the entry? Do you need specific tickets for that? Is it quite difficult and monitored the same way the Galapagos is?
No, it's
No.
not as.
Okay, nice, great. Okay, perfect. Well, if anyone has any more questions, then now is the time to just drop anything in. But thank you so much for joining this evening. It's been fantastic to hear about South America and to answer your questions. And we hope that you have got a better understanding of how to plan a trip to this fantastic continent. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And just contact us if you need any assistance. Thank you.
Thank you
Great.
so much.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.